Hello, welcome back again. This is the continuation of our lecture series for FRM 7, Module 1. So we are now on lesson number 1, still at lesson number 1. So this is a continuation of our lecture series. Now last lecture video, we discussed about I discussed about how SWS, or the social weather surveys are doing, or the PSA are doing, in gathering information and asking Filipinos in order to make findings, or make interpretation or results discussion based on the results of their interview. Now, according to SWS, around 66% of adult Filipinos are willing to get the COVID-19 vaccine. So, despite of the different news that you can hear on the TV, that the vaccines have different efficacies, especially the vaccine that the government is purchasing or has already purchased in China, which is the Sinovac. Okay. Now, more men are also willing to get vaccinated at 71% compared to women at 60%. So this is a very good finding gihapon, because we'll be able to compare what are the preferences of people, especially in getting vaccine. For example, if ang atong more men, or 71%, are willing to get vaccinated compared to 60% Filipino women, then the administration, based on that finding, based on that actual result, could make decisions on how many people will be vaccinated, or where will the vaccination start, will be the trial period, how much vaccine is needed in order for the Filipinos to be vaccinated. So guys, now, what do you notice with the above statements about all are presented in numbers or in percent? This means it involves statistics, okay? Imagine if statistics have not been invented. Yes, we can complain, for example, about the performances of our president or our local mayor, but we couldn't give reason by how much we generally like or dislike their performance, okay? Because of those interviews. For example, if ikaw, diri ka na ayon sa mayor sa inyong bugto, sa inyong lungsod, sa imo nang opinion. Ang nagdaka sa imong opinion nga ang inyong mayor din maupay. Pero pag interview sa kadam-an sa inyong mga lumulupyo diya sa inyong kuan, sa inyong bungto, only 10% lang di ay ang dili na ayon kang mayor, and 90% approve sa performance ni mayor. So that explains it. Okay? Maybe because ang 10% wala na taga kuha sa iba. Okay? But anyways, that is why statistics are used by everyone in everyday life. Understanding statistics, like where they are used, why they are used, and what they represent, how to interpret them, and how properly use them is important to be considered as informed individual. By knowing statistics, we can understand facts and figures we see in the media. Now, maulay ng giingon, in the media, you do not agree dayon. Kung sa'y makita ni mga to sa TV or sa media, any information that you see in the media, do not ayo dayon pagtuod. Okay? You can make your own you can make research, because at this age of information are readily available in the internet. You can search all those information and try to cross-reference whether their presented information is legit or not. Okay? Now, what, when, and where, and why of statistics. Now, what are statistics? Now, statistics are procedures that combine, organize, and summarize data to make inferences or conclusion. So, may data, you try to organize. Keywords here, we try to combine data, we organize data, and summarize data to make inferences or conclusion. Okay? You try to interpret your data. Dili lang kayo numbers na nadiya. You get those data and try to interpret those data. That is where statistics will come in. Now, scientists and researchers alike use statistics. Now, they collect data Now, scientists and researchers use statistics because they collect data in order to test their theories and hypotheses, or their simple research questions. But the data they collected are still raw, or in its simplest form, and categorized. Now, statistics are used to organize this raw data into something condensed, more meaningful, and can be explained. Now, when are statistics used? Statistics are used already whenever you are trying to answer a question and or support your hypothesis, which both require summarizing data. Whenever you have a question and you collected the raw data, you already use statistics to answer certain questions. Okay? Now, usapan yung example, when do we use when we use statistics. For example, when you go out, every day we go out, kitaw nimo ang adlaw o panganod. You check whether how much is the possibility that it will rain today. Okay? By looking just at the clouds or sa panganod, makita nimo pila ka porsyento ng ulan. Kung dag-um kayo, you estimate like 80% chance na magulan, or mainit, there will be 10% chance of rain. But just by thinking, kung pila ka porsyento ang chances nga magulan yan ang adlaw or dili, you are now applying statistics. Okay? Now, where are statistics found? Statistics are not only used by scientists or researchers. All professions use them, like me. I use Excel application recording students' scores and computer grades. Okay? Para teachers use statistics. Everyone, anyone, as long as you utilize data and you make inferences out of the data that you collected, you are doing statistics. Again, everyone does statistics. Now, why do I need statistics? You need statistics in order to understand scientific research and be able to interpret your data considering your research question or hypothesis. Since mga estudyante ka, and you do lab exercises, and you do, if mag-thesis come, you do thesis, and you have your hypothesis, and those hypotheses needs to be tested. And what kind of test will you use? That is where statistics will come in. Okay? Now, there are two branches of statistics. One branch of statistics is the descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. Now, in our field, we are field of science nato. As foresters, we usually utilize these two, descriptive stat and inferential stat. But most likely, ang atong ginagamit is inferential statistics. You use descriptive statistics. This is a branch of statistics that just focuses on collecting, summarizing, and presenting a set of data. Descriptive stat are used to consolidate data into single representative values that can be used to describe the entire set of data. Okay? Okay? So descriptive statistics are used to consolidate just the data. So mo nang inyong makita, usually makita ka mong naka-table, and those table is presented in graphs, in bar charts, pie charts, bar graphs, time series. Those are usually descriptive stat. Now, examples, just take the following set of data, 3, 4, 6, 7, 3, 4, 5, 8. Now, you might take the average of these scores, average is 5, or the mean, you add all those up, divide by the number of sample. So, you might take the average of these scores. So, the average to represent the data set, that is the most common descriptive stat, the mean or mean. Now, in inferential statistics, it's the branch of statistics that analyzes sample data to draw conclusions about the population. Again, now, in inferential stat, we use sample data. Now, there are two kinds of data. The data that is drawn from the sample and data from a population. And most of the time, we use just the sample data because population is ang kabubusan na bana. For example, there is pila na may population sa Pilipinas yan na, pila ka milyon. Putang nato mga 30 million Filipinos na diri sa Pilipinas yan na. Now, if you do statistics and you try to interview those 30 million, if you use population, tanan nga 30 million yung interview, which is dili good na siya practical, and it's not economical, it's not efficient. That's why we use sample. Out of the 30 million Filipinos, maybe you will just interview like 500,000 Filipinos in order for you to make inferences or to make interpretation based on the sample data that you make of the population. Okay? So you have your examples. Now, there are 5 terms to understand in statistics. Now, you cannot learn much about statistics unless you first learn the meanings of these 5 words. Now, again, population is all the members of a group about which you want to draw a conclusion. Example, US citizen, all, basta na ibang all or the entire, mo na masabtan mo in a sentence yan sa stats, especially in problem solving or analysis of a problem. Basta pagkita pa mo sa sentence, may nakabutang all of the US citizens or the entirety or all the population ko na siya, population sample. Okay? Now, number 2 is ang sample is the part of the population selected for analysis. Now, kung ang population kabugusan, ang sample is just a small portion drawn from a population. Mao to'y gingamit nimo nga data in order that you will analyze, okay, to make inferences out of the population. Number 3, we have parameter. So, ang parameter? A parameter is a numerical measure that describes a characteristic of a population. Example, percentage of all registered voters who intend to vote in the next election. Amo itong example sa parameter and so on and so forth. Number 4, we have statistic. What is a statistic? Now, it is a numerical measure that describes a characteristic of a sample. Again, difference ha. Ang atong klase is statistics. That is the branch of science. While ang statistic, the YS, is a numerical measure that describes a characteristic of a sample. And the percentage in sample will intend to vote in the next election. Mao na siya ang variables. Last, sa atong variables, a characteristic of an item or an individual that will be analyzed. Okay? For example, a variable could be gender, height, weight, number of leaves, etc., etc. Okay? You can read those examples. And then we have quantitative and qualitative variables. We have the quantitative variables include numbers as levels. The levels of the variables are numerical and can be expressed in amounts or ratios. Money quantitative. When we say quantitative variables, those are expressed in numbers, numeric. We have height, age, salary, length, GPA, temperature. And then we have qualitative variable or categorical variable. Those variables are not quantifiable or they can be just descriptive like gender, male or female, kung ano yung mga qualitative variable, categorical, hair color, brown, black, etc., college major, English, math, forestry, agriculture. Now, for the various sampling concept, I will be discussing these sampling concepts for the next lecture video na akong i-upload. Okay? That's all for today's lecture video.